The Mighty Thor, 1966. Loki first appeared in the Mighty Thor animation back in 1966. And as usual, he was the troublemaker. Loki is Thor's adoptive brother, but they couldn't be more different. While Thor is noble and heroic, Loki is devious and mischievous. He loves playing tricks on people and causing chaos. In those early days, Loki's main goal was to mess with Thor and take over Asgard. He would constantly come up with sneaky schemes to try and rule their home realm. But Thor, being the mighty god of thunder that he is, would always foil Loki's plans.
With your hammer in hand, impossible! I shall remove the force field and see, the hammer is still there.
SpiderMan and His Amazing Friends, 1981. Loki was one of the main villains in this 1981 SpiderMan animated series. Loki is the Norse god of mischief, and he definitely lived up to that title. Loki would come up with all sorts of sneaky schemes to try and defeat Spider-Man, Iceman, and Firestar. But no matter what tricks Loki tried, he could never seem to outsmart our amazing friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and his pals. Loki would disappear for a while and then pop up again with a new dastardly plan. He was always up to no good, but the superheroes were always able to thwart his evil schemes.
Now I possess both twins of the gods. Vengeance upon the accursed Mighty Thor!
Hulk vs. 2009. Loki is up to his old tricks again in 2009. In Hulk vs., Loki decides to control the Hulk and unleash him on Asgard while Thor and the others are busy. Loki thinks the Hulk's incredible strength will allow him to conquer Asgard while Odin is asleep. Loki manages to magically control the Hulk and sends him to smash up Asgard's warriors. Loki has a great time watching the Hulk beat up Thor and the others. But Loki loses control of the Hulk, who then goes on a rampage.
Spell breaking!
I will have this hammer!
The Superhero Squad Show, 2009. In the show, Loki teams up with other villains like Doctor Doom to try and take over the world. But the superhero squad is always there to stop his plans. Loki uses magic and illusions to fight, but the heroes manage to beat him in the end. Loki's personality in the show is very silly and over the top. He laughs maniacally and thinks he's so clever, but the heroes always outsmart him. He acts like a prankster more than a serious threat. He provides laughs as the main antagonist for Thor and the other heroes to fight against in their adventures.
Brother!
The Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, 2010. As we all know, Loki has always been a bit jealous of Thor and resents not being the favorite son of Odin. In the series, Loki is constantly plotting against the Avengers and trying to take over Earth. He creates lots of trouble and mischief for the heroes through his schemes. Loki can be sneaky and manipulative to get what he wants. He often tricks other characters by using illusions and changing his appearance. Despite being the main villain, Loki is a complex character. At times he shows that he does care for his brother Thor deep down, but his desire for power and control usually wins out in the end.
On Midgard, you may play at being heroes, but here, you are less than nothing.
Thor, Tales of Asgard, 2011. In the movie, Loki is always trying to make Thor look bad and get him into trouble. Loki uses his magic and shape-shifting abilities to play all sorts of tricks. But sometimes Loki's tricks go too far and he ends up causing real problems. Thor and his friends have to stop Loki's mischief and tricks to save the day. So Loki can be a fun character because he's so mischievous, but he also has to learn that his tricks can go too far and end up hurting others.
Amora? Leave us.
Yes, Your Highness.
Thor, 2011. That's a movie from 2011 about the mighty superhero Thor. He's a big, strong guy with a hammer and a cool helmet. Thor is actually a god from Norse mythology, and in the movie, he gets banished from his home, Asgard, and sent to Earth. Now, when Thor arrives on Earth, he's all confused and doesn't understand our modern ways. Thor's hammer, called Mjolnir, is like his best friend. It's super powerful and only he can lift it. With that hammer, he can control lightning and do all sorts of amazing things. He uses it to fight off bad guys and protect the innocent. But his adopted brother Loki, as usual, created troubles.
And no longer citizen of Asgard.
And I need no longer obey you.
Thor and Loki, Blood Brothers, 2011. In this 2011 series, Loki is portrayed as a complex and conflicted character. He's Thor's adopted brother, but he's always felt overshadowed by Thor's popularity and strength. As a result, he often acts out in an attempt to prove himself. Throughout the series, we see Loki struggle with his identity and his place in Asgard. He's constantly scheming and plotting to gain power and control, but he also has moments of vulnerability and self-doubt.
Mock me while you can, brother. My day will come.
Ultimate Spider-Man, 2012. In the show, Loki is the god of mischief and he causes all sorts of trouble for Spider-Man and his friends. He can take on the appearance of anyone or anything he wants, which makes it hard for Spider-Man to know who he's really dealing with. But even though Loki is mischievous and likes to cause chaos, he's also pretty funny. He has a quick wit and loves to make jokes, even when he's in the middle of a battle.
Wee, all the way home. Let this be a lesson, mortal.
The Avengers 2012. Loki was a pretty interesting villain. He was actually Thor's brother, but he was pretty jealous of Thor and wanted to prove that he was just as powerful. In the movie, Loki comes to Earth and starts causing all sorts of chaos. He's got this crazy scepter that can control people's minds, so he uses it to make some of the Avengers fight against each other. It's pretty intense. But the thing about Loki is that he's not just a mindless bad guy. He's got some pretty deep-seated issues and a lot of emotional baggage. He's kind of a tragic character in a way. Overall, I'd say Loki is one of the most memorable villains in the MCU.
The Chitauri are coming. Nothing will change that. What have I to fear?
The Avengers.
Avengers Assemble 2013. Loki is actually really complex and has a lot of layers to his personality. He's also really smart and cunning, which makes him a formidable opponent for the Avengers. One of the things that makes Loki such a great villain is that he's always one step ahead of the Avengers. He's constantly coming up with new schemes and tricks to try and take them down.
You control your hammer, but I control what it hits.
Thor: The Dark World 2013. Loki, the adopted brother who's always up to something. In this movie, he's been imprisoned for his previous naughty behavior, but of course, he finds a way to escape and cause more trouble. Throughout the movie, Loki is up to his usual tricks, manipulating people and causing chaos wherever he goes. He's got a complicated relationship with Thor and their family, and you can tell he's struggling to figure out where he belongs.
In the dungeon.
And what of Thor?
Lego Marvel Superheroes Maximum Overload 2013. In Maximum Overload, Loki is up to his usual tricks, causing chaos and trying to take over the world. But, of course, our favorite Marvel heroes like Iron Man, SpiderMan, and Captain America are there to stop him. One of the funniest things about Loki in this series is how he's portrayed as a bit of a bumbling villain. He's always getting into ridiculous situations and making silly mistakes that end up foiling his own plans. But don't let that fool you, because Loki is still a powerful foe.
By my own Norn Frost enchantment, I have made myself indescribably powerful. Oh, brain freeze!
Hulk and the Agents of Smash 2014. In the show, he's basically the main antagonist and is always causing trouble for the Hulk and his team of agents. One thing that stands out about Loki in this show is his sense of humor. He's always making sarcastic jokes and witty remarks, even in the midst of battle. Throughout the series, Loki is constantly trying to take over the world or gain some sort of power. But with the help of the Hulk and his team, they always manage to stop him in his tracks.
You need to fight him with brains!
Something none of you possess.
Marvel Superhero Adventures Frostfight 2015. Loki is up to his usual mischief. He's causing trouble and trying to take over the world. But luckily, our favorite heroes like Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man are there to stop him. Loki is especially sneaky in this movie. He uses his magic to create illusions and trick the heroes. But they're not easily fooled. They work together to figure out what's real and what's not.
The perfect present.
Marvel Superhero Adventures 2017. In one episode, titled Oh, It's Magic, Loki decides to ruin everybody's summer fun. Can you believe it? Thor and Spidey were just trying to have a good time at the pier, but Loki had other plans. He uses his magical powers to freeze everything and turn the sunny day into a frosty mess. Talk about a party pooper. Thor and Spidey team up to break the icy spell and save the day. They show Loki that no matter how powerful he may be, friendship and teamwork always triumph over mischief and mayhem.
What?
Thor Ragnarok 2017. In this movie, he finds himself teaming up with his brother Thor to take on the powerful villain, Hela. Loki is known for his quick wit and cunning, and he definitely brings that to the table in Ragnarok. Throughout the film, Loki goes through quite the character arc. At first, he's his usual sneaky self, trying to save his own skin and looking out for his own interests. But as the story progresses, we see a different side of Loki. He starts to realize the importance of family and the greater good, and he even makes some sacrifices along the way.
I've never met this man in my life.
He's my brother.
Adopted.
Avengers Infinity War 2018. In the movie, he initially tries to make a deal with Thanos to spare his life in exchange for the Tesseract, which he had stolen from Asgard. However, Thanos sees through his trickery and ends up killing him in front of Thor. It was a really sad moment for all of us who love Loki, but it definitely added to the tension and drama of the movie.
I assure you, brother,
the sun will shine on us again.
Avengers Endgame 2019. You see, there's this part where the Avengers go back in time to retrieve the Infinity Stones. But while they're doing that, something goes wrong and Loki ends up getting his hands on the Tesseract, which is basically a container for one of the Infinity Stones. So, what does Loki do with the Tesseract? Well, he uses it to teleport away from the scene, creating an alternate timeline in the process. And that's pretty much the last we see of him in the movie. What If Series 2021. If you haven't watched this series on Disney, you're missing out on some really cool alternate storylines in the Marvel Universe. One of the episodes features Loki as the main character, and it's pretty awesome. In this alternate reality, Loki doesn't end up being adopted by Odin and growing up with Thor. Instead, he becomes a brutal king of Asgard and sets his sights on conquering Earth. But don't worry, our favorite hero, Captain Carter, comes to the rescue. With her help, the Avengers are able to stop Loki's invasion and save the day.
Under my command, so I have come to help you fulfill your destiny.
Loki web series 2021. Now, you might be wondering how that's possible since Loki died in Avengers Infinity War. But remember, we're dealing with time travel and alternate realities here. It's possible. In the series, Loki is a variant version of himself who escapes from the Avengers' custody after the events of the first Avengers movie. He gets captured by the Time Variance Authority, aka TVA, an organization that monitors the timeline and prevents any changes that could cause chaos. Throughout the series, Loki goes through a lot of character development as he learns more about himself and his place in the universe.
Big metaphor guy. I love it. Makes you sound super smart. I am smart. I know. Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania 2023. Loki didn't have major role in this movie, but he showed up at the end of the film and end credit scene. Don't want to spoil it for those who haven't watched Quantumania yet. But there were Loki, Mobius, and a Kang variant. The purpose of that scene was set up for upcoming Loki Season 2.
It's him. You made him sound like this terrifying figure. He is.
Well, that's it for this video. Now tell me in the comments box what makes Loki your favorite hero, and which is your favorite Loki moment and why. And at last, if you like this video, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.